Thanks for staying with us. I'm John Case. This is What Matters Most, and I've got a distinct feeling that the next segment's going to be trouble. Rhoda and Joanna, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having us, John.
Thank you.
And we talked about getting you a punch card.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that should happen.
So, Gentle Path, Pathways to Hope. This is an event centered around sort of acceptance, ending the stigma, finding help for people with mental health issues.
Exactly. So Gentle
Okay,
Path
good.
Counseling.
Just kidding.
Here you go.
Gentle Path Counseling provides group mentoring and
Yes.
or group counseling and counseling one-on-one for individuals regardless of their financial income. Last year, they raised $55,000 and provided that in subsidy for those folks that didn't have private coverage. So events like this help promote and raise money to cover those costs. So Pathways to Hope, the real message behind that is that individuals and organizations right here locally can overcome the challenges that we face and the adversity. So that's what we're going to be sharing at the event.
Right. So laying out that pathway towards finding some options, finding a way to get through. The guest speaker is Terry Blizzard. It said, or at least one of the guest
Yes.
speakers, it said in my package that he was going to talk about overcoming adversity. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Sure.
Either one of you, anybody.
Do you wanna
Terry is another person like myself, and I'm going to be emceeing this event because I'm very public about my own personal mental health struggles and how I overcame them. And Terry's another great member of our community who really truly represents what it is to be an entrepreneur and leader after dealing effectively with his own personal issues. So he's a great example and has a great capacity to tell his story.
Certainly. And Wear Your Label is going to be involved as well, and they're a crazy cool startup that was at New York Fashion Week. Talk to me a little bit about Wear Your Label and how they fit into this.
Sure. I mean, I worked with them up in Fredericton. I work for Enterprise St. John as well.
Yeah.
They're one of these programs that came out of the UNB TME Summer Institute, which is a 3-month program centered around really surrounding entrepreneurs with the help they need. And these two, Kyle and Kylie, came out of, Kaylee came out of that program with the willingness to bear their spirit and their issues and encourage others to do so through their own company called Wear Your Label, where you see tags like sad not rad and self-care isn't selfish and things like that to really put the conversation on the forefront there for people using clothing.
Right. The message behind Wear Your Label is that it's okay to be upfront about having those sorts of problems. Why is it important to get that out there? Either one, both. You guys want to write it down and compare notes?
We both can speak for days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to get that message out there so that others who are feeling like they're alone in their struggles are not alone, and that they too can overcome what they face.
And not just overcome, but like just even thrive and do
Right.
so well in their lives. The main speaker, Frank O'Day, who I love his story. He was homeless at 14 and found his way to survive and overcome that horrificness and build Second Cup. So he founded this amazing Canadian company, one of the last Canadian coffee companies we have. That's a big one. So this man not only took the bull by the horns in dealing with his own mental health issues, he did so and brought up a whole group of people through his own companies doing so.
Certainly. And it's an important message because if you were to break your arm, no one would expect you to never accomplish anything again in your entire life. But if you suffer from a mental health issue, that's the expectation of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately so, and a lot of people are penalized. They can end up losing their jobs. They can end up ruining their lives in so many ways. And for us to keep like shaming them and feeling like they're not dealing with it right, we just have to put it out there that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to come to Gentle Path. It's okay to talk
ask
to
for
anybody
help.
who, especially leaders like Rhoda and myself, who are really putting ourselves out there to make sure that people know we'll show them a way to help themselves, right?
We'll get there.
And Gentle Path does a whole lot of wonderful work in the region. Why does a not-for-profit have to do this? Why isn't this provided within the healthcare system?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
We've got about 18 minutes left in the show, so
That
take
is
your
like
time.
a whole other show, I believe. I think mental health does have services available.
Sure.
Nonprofits just seem to have a different approach with combating some social issues. They certainly don't have the support from government necessarily. I really can't answer that question for you, Joanna.
I think as we start to bring up these issues to the surface, much like, feminism, racism, all these things, it just brings it to the level where we can finally start to look at government to say, it's a big enough issue now that you need to deal with this. So I think nonprofits like Gentle Path work so hard to build up that base of cash to help people when they can, who don't have the money to do so, to go to a traditional method of therapy. They're the ones leading the charge and leading the way to make sure government sees us talking about this and recognizes it in policy at some point.
Right. And it's a great initiative, of course. I mean, I don't mean to disparage Gentle Path. I think they do wonderful work, because the group of individuals who, A, have ongoing or are overcoming mental health issues but don't have the resources to deal with them effectively are a huge pool of wasted human capital.
Absolutely.
And we have so many people who could accomplish so much but never get the opportunity to, because it's really expensive to go to counseling.
It absolutely is, and sometimes you don't have EAP. So even folks who are gainfully employed, who don't have employee assistance programs, end up having to pay $90 to $100 an hour just for a general 50-minute counseling session. So that's not feasible to a lot of regular families. And Gentle Path is there if you have a case for yourself, to want to help yourself. They're going to come in and say, we have the money to help you.
Sure.
So,
I remember flipping through my my last employee handbook for the last job I had that had benefits, and under the listed services for extra things, like naturopath or chiropractor or whatever, they would pay for one session of counseling.
Yeah,
like
and have to be with a psychologist or something. Like you couldn't be a counselor.
That's probably helpful.
Enough to open up the can of worms and then leave you with the mess.
Exactly. So, and again, it's all about bringing up these issues and talking about them on great programs like this to say, hey, this is something we're thinking about and caring about.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you snored, they would pay you up to $3,500 for one of those constant pressure machines. Yeah.
And that's 35 sessions, man. That's sweet.
The event is September 15th.
It is.
It's at 6:30. Talk to me a little bit of what people can expect at the event, why they would want to go, where they get tickets.
Sure. So definitely, if you want to show up early, doors open at 6. Wear Your Label is going to have a pop-up boutique in the lobby of Imperial Theatre, with 15% of their proceeds going back to Gentle Path.
Oh, wonderful.
And then leading into the event, we have an evening of music and inspiring stories, so like Terry's, who's going to share how he has managed to get to where he is and where he came from, and why his story is so significant in St. John.
Right.
And we have a segment called what we're calling our Leaders of Tomorrow. So different individuals and organizations like Wear Your Label, April Eileen, Caitlin Layden, Project Roar, District News, Connection Works, Hemmings House, the
Is there
Social
anyone left to
Enterprise
attend
Hub.
the event?
Exactly. So all of these really great, passionate people who are really fighting for St. John and the prosperity of it. So we're going to have that segment of Leaders of Tomorrow where we'll highlight their stories. Then we have a few special musical performances and Frank
special?
O'Day. Special.
What makes them special?
I can't tell you. There is a secret. There might be an unveiling at the event.
Oh, really? An
There
unveiling.
could be.
Ew.
An unveiling, even.
Jeez.
That's your money's
I'm
worth.
telling you. I don't even know.
How do you get tickets?
Imperial Theatre, so you can go to the box office or on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they are
$55, and again, proceeds are going to Gentle Path.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anything else that you want to share before I let you go? Did we
I'm
cover
totally
it?
chiming in here for micro.
Oh, yeah. Do it.
Do it. So tomorrow night. There's a nice collaboration of female women. Of course, they're female women.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Some of my favorite
Other
kinds.
organizers of the event. We are hosting tomorrow night at McGill's, which is August 25th. From 4:30 to 7:30. We're calling it Girl Boss SJ. It's all about being a girl boss, which is to have ambition, to persevere, and to be your best self. So it's not about dividing men and women. It's about celebrating the women in our community. All men are welcome. So come down to McGill's for some drinks and appetizers.
I have to ask, is it called Girl Boss SJ or is it called hashtag Girl Boss SJ?
Hashtag Girl Boss SJ.
That's what I thought.
It's that number sign for anyone who's wondering. That is the first part of the tag, but you can find us on Facebook under the Connection Works event, Women Empowering Women, a Girl Boss inspired event. And if you want to check out more details about that. So
Right.
It's kind of on the same lines of lifting people up.
Certainly, and a good reason to go to McGill's if you haven't yet.
Absolutely. Brand
Wonderful.
new, right now.
Thank you so much for being here, both of you. Good initiatives, great event. I hope a lot of people get out to it. And we'll have you back soon, I'm sure. You'll have something else under your hat. Stay with us. We will be back after the break with Pierre Rioux. We are talking about KV Harvest Jazz and Blues.